27 outs for the game to count as an official no-hitter. The baseball gods had abandoned Hawkins yet again. And so a new baseball decade that was just 6 months old began ignominiously for the Yankees, the most decorated American sports franchise of the 20th century. The embarrassment of Hawkins's Chicago outing lingered, the omen for what was to come for the country's most renowned sports team. It would turn out to be the dawn of the darkest period in Yankees history, a period willfully forgotten by Yankees fans, with good reason. How had this happened to the team of Ruth, Gehrig, DiMaggio, and Mantle? By 1990, the Yankees had won 22 World Series and 33 American League pennants, both Major League records. 26 Yankees were already in the Baseball Hall of Fame or on their way there. The Yankees had been the subject of countless books and motion pictures, television miniseries, and Broadway shows. The franchise was likened to titans of American industry, compared to the Ford Motor Company in the 1920s and U.S. Steel in the 1950s. Yankees jerseys had been the best-selling brand in baseball, and a Yankees cap was still a fixture on streets, subway cars, bars, and jet planes around the country. They were the favored team of celebrities, from Jack Nicholson to Bruce Springsteen to Jackie Onassis. The moneyed Yankees had cultivated a reputation synonymous with achievement and prosperity. And yet, 10 years away from a new century, the great Yankees run appeared all but over. Their empire had collapsed and seemed irreparably ruined. The minor league cupboard of budding young prospects was bare. The Yankees, by every measure, were broken. From 1989 to 1992, the Yankees were the laughingstock of baseball, with a team that not only was at the bottom of the standings, but had the worst 4-year record, 288 and 359, since the team first became known as the Yankees in 1913. Attendance at Yankee Stadium was down 35%, TV ratings had plummeted, and the Yankees were in the midst of the longest World Series drought in team history, a stretch that lasted 14 seasons. Those are the statistics, but it was so much worse than the numbers. How bad? The team's owner, George M. Steinbrenner III, had been denounced as a stain on the game and banished permanently from baseball. It was not the only bad karma shrouding the team after 7 decades of mostly uninterrupted triumph. It started with Hawkins's losing no-hitter. A year later, a prized Yankees draft pick with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, in an era when almost no one threw that hard, got in a bar fight that ruined his career. Promising trades turned out to be embarrassing flops. In the midst of 4 successive losing seasons, the entire Yankees roster had exactly one player, Don Mattingly, who had ever been to an All-Star game. But Mattingly's shining light was soon enveloped by a darker mood, too. An aching back was betraying him and would soon sap him of his greatest gifts. At this juncture, the obituary for the once great, conquering Yankees was being written across the country. The Yankees were dated, worn, and lacked new ideas or a modern operating philosophy. Their players had been sullied and humiliated. Even the team's physical plant appeared to be outmoded. The once groundbreaking Yankee Stadium, refurbished a generation earlier, was aging and had been surpassed by a host of newer, more imaginative and entertaining ballparks in Baltimore, Toronto, Chicago, Texas, and Minnesota, outposts that now mocked the declining Yankees. The Yankees were like a once-proud transatlantic ocean liner or a too-big-to-fail corporation, a hardy symbol of a robust America and perhaps the country's greatest century that was now slowly sinking or deteriorating brick by brick. But in fact, and as hard as it was to see at the time, the seemingly vexed Yankees were about to embark on a revival that ended with the last great baseball dynasty of the 20th century. And so this is a story of a wholly unexpected resurrection and rebirth. It is the story of the unlikely cast of characters, nobodies in the game of baseball at the time, who made it happen. They were baseball lifers, a mix of wandering scouts and their bosses, cubicle-bound analysts, untested coaches, and junior executives led by the then-obscure first-year manager Buck Showalter and the team's general manager Gene Michael, 2 cogs buried deep in the organizational structure.